Our community garden.
We are the first and only school in Manatee County that has received a Whole Foods, Whole Kids Foundation grant for their community garden. All right, here at Daughtrey, one of our goals is to get the kids to grow the plants from the seedling stage so that they can take them out into the garden eventually. The kids get the dirt, they fill up all of our little containers by the tray, as you can see, and then they go ahead and plant their seeds, and they mark them so that we know what plants are what when we get ready to transfer them into the garden. We have the students involved in all aspects of the gardening process, from building the plots to growing the seeds to filling the plots to growing the plants to maturity. All the students take part in the building process. All right, well, building the plots is a multi-step process, as you can see. It takes 6 of the 4x6x8s to make one unit, and then they build all of the 4 sidewalls just like these are made. And then we have the students line the beds. The lining of the bed is really important because that helps control the weeds growing up from underneath. The kids fill the buckets with dirt, and they have to carry them all the way from the dirt pile, and they add them into each plot. So when you see each plot, they were hand-filled by the students here at Daughtrey. Here's one of our plots that was just filled by one of our 2nd grade classes. They're going to be growing corn so that they can learn about the corn growing process and how the cycle of life works when it comes to corn. Our students take great care of their plants. These watermelon seedlings were only about 2 inches long just a few short weeks ago. Here we have them in flower and getting ready to make their first melon. The garden allows our students to learn all about the plant cycle. Here you can see the flowers and the new little baby green beans that are growing on their plants. The students have learned that without the flowers, there's going to be no vegetable or no fruit to eat later on. And the students just love to come out to the garden, find one of their vegetables, pick it, prepare it, and eat it fresh. They love doing this. Here's just one of the plots that the children are trying to grow their corn in. This is an earth box, and as you can see, the corn is doing fantastic. We're starting to get the tassels. The students are learning all about how plants make the next set of food that we're going to eat. Here's our future broccoli that the students are going to be able to take home and enjoy. Students seem to like the vegetables much more when they're the ones that grew it. They've also learned the difference between cold weather crops and our hot, warm southern crops that we grow in the south. Here the students again get to see why the flower is important as they see that the flower is slowly turning into the next squash plant. The students aren't quite exactly sure what squash is, but they'll give anything a try. Here you can see the kids' Tabasco pepper plant. They're learning that when the redder the Tabasco gets, the hotter the pepper gets. This is a plant they love to take home and share with their families. We call this one of our salsa beds because everything that you need to make salsa is in here. We have our tomatoes in the back and they're starting to get ripened up. We have some sweet peppers, we have some jalapeno peppers. The students really enjoy growing vegetables to share with their families and our community. Here again, the students learn that the flower is the piece of the plant that's going to create the next fruit. This is a beautiful eggplant flower, and soon we'll have an eggplant growing from it. Here's a plant that we introduced the students to. It's called kale. Kale is one of the superfoods, and we explain to the students that superfoods are important because they're high in nutrient value and they're good for their families to eat. Most of the students never actually tasted kale, so when they take that first bite of that kale leaf, they get that this is a bitter plant taste. But again, we use no pesticides, so we can eat it right out of the garden. Yummy! Here is our kindergarten cabbage patch. They have a great time learning how a little cabbage seed can turn into such a great big head of cabbage. And they enjoy taking their cabbage home and sharing it with their family. And the best part is they know where it came from and who grew it. As you can see, there's plenty of room for us to expand our community garden here at Daughtrey. All we need is the funds to help make it possible. That's why we're asking our community to help us feed our community. Now we're approaching the area where we would really like to expand our community garden. As you can see, we have quite a bit of space available, and the more production area we can go, the more food we can share with our community. We'd also like to incorporate our pond into a hydroponics growing area But again, we need the community support to make this happen. Water is a very important part of the gardening process. Here at Daughtrey, we teach the children to conserve water the best that we can. As you can see, we can currently collect about 1,000 gallons of rainwater, which is plenty for right now to use with our gardens that we have on hand. But as we grow, we're going to need more rain barrels to help meet production needs. As you can see, we currently have a little bit over 700 square feet under production and growing products for us to share with our community and our families here at Daughtrey. But as you can see, we have plenty of room to expand. We just need the community's help. And right now we're going to go ahead and harvest one of our cabbages that the kids have grown, and we're going to go home and take this home and enjoy it. Goes to waste. We use these leaves to create compost, or we give them to one of our staff members who has a rabbit, and their rabbit gets to enjoy it, and we get to take home this beautiful head of cabbage.